Hey, it's Hoyt.
All my life, want to fight about it?
Not right now. John Boy Miller here, buddy.
Why, say there, you big old hairy, no driving, no talking, no trumpet playing, hee-haw looking pervert.
Not much, man. What's up with you and Delbert?
Well, we went deer hunting over the weekend.
Oh, you did? Well, how'd you do?
Not too good. But Deborah come out of it with only minor injuries.
Well, what happened?
Well, it started back middle of last week. Deborah went to this new off-price hunting and fishing warehouse joint that just opened up in the strip mall about a mile from here. Come in the house carrying this big old deer costume. You know one of them deals where one feller plays the head and the front legs, and the other feller hunches over and plays the rear end?
I got you.
Yeah, I says, what in the wide world of sports is that supposed to be? He says, this here's the Hunky Davenport deer hunting rig. Also comes with a bottle of Hunky's extra strength dose scent extract. You just sprinkle a little bit on you and the deer can't resist you. Look here on the label, it says, it's like high karate for the venison set. I said, well then what's the suit for? He says, well, the extract gets her attention and the costume draws them out in the woods. I said, you mean like when Bugs Bunny dresses up like a girl to fool Elmer Fudd? That is about the stupidest idea I ever heard in my life. And keep in mind, I've known Delbert for pretty near 25 years, so I've heard some dumb. Yeah, he says, now look here. Hunky Davenport has been the American Buck Association Southeastern Regional Champion for 4 straight years. This here is science. I says, Deborah, there ain't no way I'm going to get inside that daggum thing with you out in the middle of the woods. He says, oh, you ain't got no vision. You're like them fellers that laughed at Galileo when he invented the printing press. I said, you idiot. Galileo didn't invent the printing press. He discovered penicillin. So Delbert says, well, just come on out with me for 1 hour. If it don't work, we'll get rid of it. I says, well, all right, I'll do it, but only if I get to be the head. Delbert says, done. So early Saturday morning, we get out to the spot, and Delbert brings out the costume and that little jug of Hunky's deer juice, splashes it on us, and we zip up in the suit and go out in the clearing. Let me tell you something. Hunky Davenport has bottled him up some nasty-smelling deer juice.
Pretty right.
Oh, it was plumb awful. I says, Delbert, my eyes is burning. He says, I know. That's how you can tell it's a-working. Can you see any bucks yet? I said, bucks? I can't hardly see my wristwatch. Took about 5 minutes for us to adjust to the smell. Just then, heard this twig snap. Deborah says, what was that? I turned my head around, picked out the eye holes. There it was. I says, I'll be dadgum. It's a 12-point buck. Nice and two. Deborah says, what's he doing? I said, he's standing about 3 foot from that tree. The one our rifles is leaning up against. Deborah says, okay, stay cool. Here's the plan. We'll kindly stroll out across the clearing and draw him out of the brush, and then we'll circle back around behind him and grab the guns. How's that sound? I said, sounds pretty dang stupid to me, but let's go. So we go sashaying across the clearing in this big old deer suit like a couple of Shriners in the Christmas parade. Deborah says, look back, can you see him? I said, yeah, he's a-coming right for us. He says, well, keep going another 10 or 12 yards. I says, I ain't sure we got 10 or 12 yards. He's coming kindly fast. Deborah says, okay, let's circle back toward the guns. I said, no, we got to run for it. Unzip this thing, get us out of here. Deborah says, I can't. The zipper's stuck. Is he still coming? I says, yeah, and he's picking up speed, too. He says, I can't get it open. What in the world are we going to do? I says, well, I'm going to start eating some grass. You might want to brace yourself.
So these minor injuries Delbert got.
Hey, look, trust me, you don't want to know. Listen, I got to run here. Me and Marlon Perkins is fixing to go to work. You going to see Goober later on?
Yeah, well.
Well, you tell him I said, duh-huh. He'll know what you mean.
All right.
Y'all keep him straight up, all right?
All right.
All right.
It's got